Hey everybody, my name is Mike Pelletier, and some people call me Pelly, and I play games. And I thought I'd try my hand at making some videos because it's always interested me, and I finally decided, yeah, let's take the plunge. So today what I'd like to do is go ahead and rank my board game collection. So I thought it'd be a good way to start out. So let's go ahead and give it a try, shall we? Let's take a look at the game collection. Yes, I know. It's in the closet. How dare I? But see, the thing is, this used to be my daughter's room, and when she moved out, I converted it into a office/guest room. Well, when I talked my wife into adding a slash and making it also a game room, this was a compromise. And honestly, it's worked out pretty well, basically because it makes for more room, plus, little things like this that I can shove on the floor, make it a lot more convenient. So let's get into ranking these games. All right, so I got to admit, this is not an original idea. I was watching videos on YouTube, and I stumbled across a group called Shelfside. Young guys. One of them did a ranking of his board game collection, and I thought, I think I can do that, and so here I am. He used an S to F tier ranking system, which is kind of more towards video games, I believe. I'm an older guy. I'm an old school guy. I'm just going to go straight up ranking 1 through 10. But here's the catch. What I'm going to try to do, and I have not pre-planned this, what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to rank these relative to the other games in my collection. So not like on Board Game Geek, a lot of my rankings are from 5 to 10 or 6 to 10. I'm not ranking them that way. I want to see, okay, this game relative to every other game in my collection, where it does it stand. My hope is that I'm going to end up with equal stacks in each number, but we'll see. I also hope I have enough room on my table to hold everything. I probably will not. This game, however, will not go on the table because it's got a round top, because this game is not in its original box. This is my completed copy of Eldritch Horror. I got all the expansions, and I have had a ton of fun playing this with my sons, with my other game groups, but mainly my sons. We all love it equally. We get trashed sometimes. We win pretty easily sometimes. It's a dice chucker. I don't normally like dice chuckers, but this one here just is a lot of fun with the Cthulhu theme, and with just going around trying to save the world from these monsters. And it's just been it's one of the first games I had in my collection way back when I started playing for real in 2015. And I've just loved it. I've absolutely loved it. Obviously, I own it all. So this one is not going on the table. It's going underneath it, but it is definitely a 10. All right. The next biggest game I have in my collection is obviously Gloomhaven. This thing set records for weight in board games. I, once again, really love this game. In fact, I will go ahead and say this is my favorite game of all time. It's no surprise, it's a lot of people's favorite game. It's ranked number 1 on Board Game Geek. But this one, not only for the mechanics, I love the dual card play, playing the top of one and the bottom of another, and the way you work through the dungeons and everything, the storytelling, the unlocking of all of the content. It's just fantastic. I thoroughly enjoyed this, but what sets it apart is the experience I had playing with my sons, right? I got this when it first came out in January of 2017. I didn't back it, but I bought it from a backer. We played it. We started in January 2017. We finished it in March. That's how much we sunk into it. All the other games gathered dust on the shelf. This one is fantastic. Doesn't get any better than this. This is going in the 10 pile. All right, the next biggest game I guess I have in my collection is The Reckoners. This one I got because my youngest son and I read the book series, and we loved the book series, and I saw the game and said, I gotta have that. So I traded for it, and I've been pretty happy with it. It's light. It only takes about an hour. You can play it with larger or smaller groups. And it's pretty fun. I mean, again, there's a lot of luck. It's chucking dice, but It tells a pretty good story, and it's good fun in a lighthearted group. So this one, I'm going to go ahead and give this one a 7. All right, the next biggest game I have in my collection is the Song of Ice and Fire. I'm not going to rank it because I haven't played it yet. All right, next up we have Hyperborea. This one is by Asterion, and I picked it up at BGG-Con a couple of years ago in the Bazaar, and it's okay. I got it cheap. I thought, why not? I've heard about it. It plays okay. I've only played it by myself, a couple of handed, just to... no, actually, I think I played it with my son once. And it was fine. It'll come out again. But it's not one of... It's not up there in the top games in my collection. So I'm going to give this one... a 4. Aeons End and Aeons End Legacy. Now, it's all in this box, all of my Aeons End content, because my son and I finished the Legacy game, and it just didn't make sense to have it all separate, so it's a bigger box, shoved it all in there. I do really like this game. I like playing the different mages. I like the fact that you don't shuffle your deck as you continue to build it. It's interesting to try to, get things in a certain order and try to figure out what's coming up. So can I get a big attack on this next hand? Because that's where all my spells are. But it's been a lot of fun. There's a lot of content. There's a lot of different, I've got several of the expansions, and so there's a lot of different monsters, big baddies to fight, and it's really enjoyable. The Legacy campaign, pretty good, pretty on par. It's not the best Legacy campaign I've played, but did have fun. It was very short. It was only like 7 or 8 episodes. So for the content you pay for in the Legacy game, I'm not sure you get a lot out of it, but it's replayable. So you can add that Legacy content to your base game, and it plays with the base game. So that's pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and give this one an 8. All right, Betrayal Legacy. Now, I've never played the base game of Betrayal House on the Hill. I've heard it's got a lot of balance problems, so I never wanted to touch it. However, I heard good things about the Legacy game. Problem is, I got it, started it with my sons. They lost interest in it. It was fine. We played like 2 or 3 games of it, and had a decent time, but I wouldn't call it great by any means. I think it's probably still a little bit broken. But I'm going to go ahead and put this one in the 4 category. Next, we have Through the Ages. This is really an amazingly designed game. I mean, as people have said, it's the closest thing you can get to the Sid Meiers Civilization computer game, which is really the only computer game that I play with any regularity. It's very broad. The problem is it takes a long time. It takes a lot to understand what you're doing, and so teaching it to new people who want to play it, if they're in the lighter games, they're not going to enjoy it. I like it. I play it two-handed sometimes. Probably at least once a year, I'll break it out and play it two-handed just to experience it. It's really great with the the card play, the way everything slides down, and all the mechanics that you build and continue to get better and better buildings and everything to be able to grow your empire. It's just really good. I really enjoy it. I am going to even though I don't play it that often, I can't get anybody to play it with me. I'm giving this one a 9. Do I have space? Good enough. Oh yeah, Tainted Grail. Now this is one of the only games I've gone full in and backed on Kickstarter. I got everything for it. I got the extra monsters. I got them sun-dropped. I sunk a lot of money into this, and it's well worth it. I'm still waiting for the second wave of content, all the expansions that are coming hopefully in a couple of months. Enjoyed this once again. This was one that I played with my 2 sons. I played one campaign with my youngest son, and who just went off to college, and I played another campaign with the 3 of us, my older son, my younger son, and myself. And just really good storytelling, really good, I wouldn't call it mechanics, but the way the game works, just the way your character grows and the different things that you unlock and the different things that you can get your character to do and the different places you can go. It is a lot of back and forth, and some people have complained that you're kind of going through the same places over and over again. But I enjoyed it. I really did. I mean, we had a great time with this, and I will definitely enjoy playing the expansions when they come out. Tainted Grail, this one's going to get a 9. Ooh, get on over there. I think I'm going to stand reckoners on end. There we go. All right, we'll see how much you can see me as these stacks keep getting bigger. Next one we have is Star Wars Rebellion. This, as they say, is Star Wars in a box. I mean, it's epic. It's the most epic Star Wars game that I have, and I do like me some Star Wars. So this is good. Problem is, again, I can't get anyone to play it with me. I played it once, a friend's copy with a couple other friends. We played it four-handed and just had a blast. Trying to outwit the other side, the Empire versus the Rebels. And it just plays well. The problem is I haven't been able to really play it. I got my own copy, and I've only played it solo. Tried to get my son to play it, and it was just he didn't want to learn the rules, and so it just sits on my shelf. And I get it out, maybe once a year, and work through it. But this, I'm going to go ahead, just because I can't get it to the table as much as I can because it's so big, I'm going to give this one a 7. So it's going to go right there next to Reckoners. So far my list is looking a little top heavy. I like a lot of my games. Next one we have Thunderstone Quest. Picked this one up at BGG Con a couple of years ago. It's a good deck builder. It's a lot of fun. It takes maybe an hour and a half to play two-handed. I play it with my son. My older son really likes it as well. Again, it's a deck builder. I tend to like some deck building, and so this one's giving me some good times. It's about average. I'll go ahead and give this one a 6. Arcadia Quest. I got this one at the Bazaar at BGG Con a couple years ago as well. I really want to like this game. I really do. Played it with my older son several times. He tends to beat me more than I beat him, but I don't know. I mean, the characters are cool, they're cute. I get them out and use them when I play D&D sometimes, and my group really enjoys them because they're funny looking. The gameplay is pretty good. It's just it's your standard dungeon crawl with elements of dice chucking and fighting monsters as well as fighting each other. It just hasn't really sunk in for me. So I'm gonna give this one a 3. All right, I kind of skipped a large box here. This one is Mansions of Madness. Again, very big. In the Cthulhu realm, again from Fantasy Flight Games. Got this one as a present because I like Eldritch Horror so much, and I do like it. The app is pretty cool. It adds some ambiance to the stories and everything. We tend to get our butts kicked more in this game than we do in Eldritch Horror, it seems. The problem I have with this is I've got this in one expansion, and it still only gives you like 6 or 7 scenarios, and then you're done. And then you have to buy more content. And it's not really infinitely replayable. So it's fine. I enjoy it, but there are a lot of other games I enjoy more than this. So I think this is going to go as a 4. All right, another biggie from my shelf, Cythe. So much has already been said about this game. A lot of people own it for good reason. The worker placement aspect on your own board, you basically have 4 actions you can do. Keeps it very simple, and yet there's so much going on. I love it because it looks like a combat game, but there's really not a whole lot of combat in it. Most of it is about building your engine, making your, maximizing your actions, and that's what I like, is the puzzle aspect about it. Is that you can, if you do things, if you optimize, you get more as you're able to do the bottom actions more often, and it's just solid. I enjoy it. I enjoy it solo. I like the Automa. It's one of the few games. A lot of times when I play solo, if a game has a solo mode, I tend to rather just play it two-handed. This has a real solid Automa that I really do enjoy. So Cythe is really good. Super enjoy it. Cythe's getting a 9. Here we go, another Star Wars game, Imperial Assault. This was, again, one of the earlier games that I got because Star Wars Dungeon Crawl, it seemed like the right thing to do. Again, I've enjoyed this, played it mostly with my sons. That tends to be my normal game group. Unfortunately, they're moving on with life, so I tend to find more and more games that I like to play solo. That's the way it goes. But Imperial Assault is, I've never played Descent. I hear that this is based on that, the mechanics of it are based on it. It's pretty good. Again, it's roll dice to shoot and hit, and it's just fun. You move along the board, you try to kill the Empire. I do like that when I first started playing this, I was the Empire, the kids were the rebels, and that's the way it went, but I kind of didn't want to be the Empire anymore. So there was a solo mode that was built by somebody online. I found the files on BGG. I tried that for a while. It was fine, and then found out just earlier this year that there was an app for it. I really put this on the shelf, hadn't played it a lot recently, and found out that there was an app, and that makes it just that much better. My sons and I bought more content for it because we were super thrilled with it. So this is it was good, and then it went on the shelf, didn't play it much, and now all of a sudden it's come back into our relevance because we discovered the app and got more content. So this one I'm going to go ahead and give an 8. Mage Knight. Good golly, I love this game. This again was one of the first games I got when I really got into the hobby. For years, all I knew that existed was Monopoly and Scrabble and the normal stuff. And then 10, 12 years ago, I bought Catan. I heard about that. Okay, Catan, let me know that there were other games out there, but I didn't really look. And then just back in 2015. A friend of mine and I started talking and really got into board games. Found Board Game Geek, started looking at listings of other games and stuff, and this was one of the very first ones I looked at and read about and thought, I want that game. It's super heavy. But just the build, the fact that it feels like you're playing a campaign in one setting. Granted, that setting might be 3 or 4 hours, even as a solo, depending on how much you overthink each turn. But the card play is genius. The fact that you can back up and replay hands, to try to optimize. I don't do that often, but I do sit there and think and overthink a lot, trying to maximize the turn and trying to get to that city. And when I fight the city, making sure I have everything set up to try to get it in one shot. So, Mage Knight. Excellent game. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I still break it out and play it several times a year. This one's a 10. Alright, Seafall. This one, believe it or not, is my most recent purchase. The reason I purchased it is I like legacy games. I like games where I can unlock stuff. I've avoided this for many years because of all the negative reviews on it. And it was on Amazon for like $13, and I finally bit the bullet and said, what? I just want to unlock everything. I want to see how it plays. I want to see what the secrets are and roll with it. I've played what I'm doing with it is I'm playing it 5-handed by myself, which I know is really weird, and I'm really sorry. I am really weird. But I've gotten them through about probably 6 or 7 games now. I've unlocked a lot of stuff, and some of it's pretty cool, and some of it adds to what's already there. And I can see how, if people played this in a campaign with friends, it would get very, very samey. And so this one, I'm going to go ahead and have to say, not a surprise, this one's a 2. Next we have Lords of Waterdeep. Now this one is another early addition to my collection, probably 2015, 2016. When I got it, I started playing it and I thought, wow, this is really amazing. Just the fulfilling quests and the worker placement was really my first dabbling into worker placement, and really enjoyed it. But obviously over the years it's been replaced by a lot of things. I can't tell you the last time I played this game. Still solid, but this one's going to go ahead and get a 5. War Party. Freebie at BGG-Con the very first time I went, I think 2017. Never played it because it looks really horrible. I don't know why I haven't gotten rid of it, but I'm not going to review it because I haven't played it. Ah yes, Pandemic Legacy Season 1. Unlike Seafall, this one lived up to the hype. This, I think I got Gloomhaven first, but then this one not too long after, probably later that year. Played it again with my sons. Just, again, the experience of it, the unlocking. Some people don't like games they have to change and put stickers on and tear things up and everything, and I don't like to tear things up, but I love putting stickers on stuff, and I love opening boxes, and I love tearing open the new rules and everything else and seeing what's different for the next month. This was an amazing, amazing experience. Pandemic has gotten kind of vanilla, but this was great. This gets a 10. Pandemic Legacy Season 2. Now this one did not get as much love as its predecessor. It's still highly ranked, still well received, but some people had problems with it because it wasn't Pandemic. Whereas Pandemic Legacy Season 1, it took Pandemic, all the mechanics of Pandemic, everything that existed in Pandemic, and put it into a Legacy game. Sure, there were some new things, but a lot of it was already existing mechanics that they incorporated. This one was brand new. It was a brand new thing, and so some people didn't take to it as much, but I thought it was great. Played this again with my sons. We even think it's a little bit better than Pandemic Legacy Season 1, believe it or not. So this one also is getting a 10. Risk Legacy. You see a theme here? This one actually also is relatively new. A friend of mine owned it and never got to it, and he just gave it to me. And so this one, again, just for the Legacy aspect. This is kind of the granddaddy, right? This is the first Legacy game that really kind of started off all the trend. I never got it when it first came out, but he gave it to me to try, and because he wasn't playing it. I did the same thing I did with Seafall. I've played it multi-handed just to unlock it and to experience, trying to play the different factions as I see fit. And I've enjoyed it. It's good. I kind of stalled out about game 7 or so. I need to get back into it. I think I've unlocked just about everything that can be unlocked, but I got another 6, 7, 8 games left that need to be played. So I'm kind of interested to see how it ends. But this one, I'm going to go ahead and give this one a 6. Okay, well, I guess that's kind of doing that then. All right. Galaxy Trucker. Now, this one here also I got free at the board game BGG Con in 2019. Kind of sad that 2020 got canceled. But I have to say I've never actually played the board game. I had the app, played the app. It was okay. I actually this is not one that the real-timeness of the beginning of it and then just the see what happens at the end of it really doesn't appeal to me. So honestly, sorry, Vlada, as much as I love Mage Knight, this one's getting a 1. Something's got to get a 1, right? Blood Rage. Ah, yes, Blood Rage. This is, again, one of the first few games that I got when I really got into the hobby. You can see the box is well worn. It's taped up in places where it splits. I recently backed the app or the digital game so that I could get the new Kickstarter exclusive content, which was based on the old Kickstarter exclusive content. So I got all the new monsters. I got the game mat. I got the upgraded tokens and everything because I just love this game so much. Had a lot of fun with it, with family, with friends. It's one that can come out. My son-in-law actually even likes this game, and he's not much of a gamer. So had a lot of good memories with this, and I think in the last 10 times I've played it, I don't think I've won. I don't care. It's enjoyable. It's fun. You just fight. You build your clan, and you go to war, and you try to, it's area control. But good fun. I do love me some Blood Rage. This one's a 9. Alright, Blood Rage is gonna do this. Hey, new day, new shirt. Couldn't finish it in the first day. We're gonna try to double time it now. Next one up, we have Colonists. Pick this one up again, BGG Bazaar. I've been wanting it for a while. It's a big meaty game, takes a long time. It's got thankfully shortened versions. but I've never actually played it with anybody. I've just played it solo, played it two-handed, and I've played it the solo version. And it's good, but it's very weighty, and it takes a long time to build up. It seems like each age goes on longer than the last, and so it's good, but it's not one of my favorites. I'm going to give this one a 5. So 5. Sure. Next up, Gloomhaven, Jaws of the Lion. This one I had to get because I'm a Gloomhaven person. As I said before, loved the original, backed Frosthaven. This one came out, and I'm like, as soon as my local Target had it, I went and got it. I've only played a few scenarios of it. I do like the characters. The simplicity of the scenario book is pretty cool. I'm an old school guy though, so I don't mind setting up the old game and having the variety there. The scenario books are good, but they also mean you can't take things on and put things off as they need to. So so far so good. I've just kind of gone through the first 4, the tutorial type. So I'm looking forward to getting into the rest of it. Because it is Gloomhaven, I'm going to assume that I'm going to love it. I'm going to go ahead and put this in the 9 because it's not quite 100% Gloomhaven. It's kind of Gloomhaven light. Alright, next we have Terraforming Mars, which everybody watching this should have an idea of what this game is. I'm not going to tip it up because the pieces will all get all over the place, but again, just the graphics, not good. The components, not great. Those player boards are very bad because you bump the table and all your stuff goes all over the place. So I did get the broken token for this simply for the trays. Makes it play a lot better. But the card play, the building your little engine to get the terraforming points is top notch. I mean, every game is different because one game you can go all plants, and another game you can go all heat and just do anything that you want to. And it's just fun to put the different cards out there and see what they do. And grow it from turn 1 to the end of the game when everyone's getting those last few victory points and getting those last few terraforming situations. Solid game. This one's a 9. All right, Power Grid, one of the longer games that I kind of forgot about. This one is a little older than a lot of them in my collection because, again, started playing in 2015, so a lot of what I have is newer stuff. However, this one really intrigued me. I got it. The theme, it's about supplying power. So how exciting is that? But the way it plays, the mechanics, the bidding for the power plants, and just the way it snowballs. Excellent game. Really love this game. This one goes in the 8 pile. Maracaibo, one of the newer additions to my collection. I've played it several times. I just got into the campaign. Again, doing that solo. Played it with my son once. It's okay for him. Played it with another group. It's okay for them. I like it, I think, better than others. Pirates. Gotta love the theme. I'm going to give this one a 7. Where are my 7s? I don't have any room for 7s. Red River Games, Near and Far. I don't have Above and Below. This one seemed more interesting to me. I wanted it for a while, finally ended up getting it. It's a cool little story. Simplistic game of just moving around and exploring, and it doesn't have as much weight for me as I wanted it to. It's okay, but I find myself not really wanting to play it. I'm going to give this one a 5. Teotihuacan, City of the Gods. Beautiful game, absolutely beautiful game. I like the pyramid building, the tiles and everything is top notch. I like it's not dice chucking, it's more dice manipulation. You grow it's almost dice building, I guess you could call it. As you move around, and every action you do, you get to up the level of your die, and then it does bigger and better things until you have to retire it. Good game. Doesn't make the table as often as I'd like to. probably, you know, again, in comparison to everything else I have here on the board, this one's going to have to be a 4, even though I really do enjoy it. You want to talk about a beautiful game. I don't think it gets any more beautiful than Spirit Island. I mean, just look at the colors on this and just the stylistic drawings and everything. It's just gorgeous to get to the board. The playing board is really great. The varying powers of the gods or the spirits are amazing to play with. It's fun to mix and match if you're playing with several people. It ramps up so you feel like you're just not going to win, and then you get a little bit more powerful and a little bit more powerful, and before you know it, you've cleared the board, or sometimes you don't. But this one has to be higher. This one is definitely a 9. Civilization: A New Dawn. I got this one because, again, I like the computer game. The original version I've never played, but then this supposedly fixed a lot of things as the new, official Sid Meiers version. It's fine, comparatively speaking, with everything else on the board, though. I'm going to have to give it a 2. Charterstone, another legacy style game. This one from Stonemaier Games. I got this. It was like a treat yourself moment. I was having a down moment, and I'm like, I'm gonna buy a game and I'm gonna play it. And so I literally did this solo in about a week and a half. Enjoyed it. It was fine. It wasn't mind blowing, but I felt like I wanted to get to the end of the story. And when I did, supposedly you can play this, on your newly created board. I didn't. It's okay. It's just okay. This one gets a 3. Memoir 44. I'm not a big war gamer. This seemed to appeal to me as kind of a hybrid regular board game / war game. And I've only played it a couple of times. It feels pretty good, but I don't have enough. I don't have enough experience with it to really know that I truly enjoy it. This one's also going to go in the 3 pile. Quadropolis, one of the lighter games I have, one of the earlier games I got. It's super fun. I've played this with my mom, of all people. I played it with my wife. She enjoys it. It's just a simple little tile gathering, city building game with little meeples that are fun to put out. And it's enjoyable. It's not mind-blowing, but it's a cool little game. This one goes in the 4 pile. Runebound. This was never on my radar, and then I played it with a guy at my friendly local game store out of the blue, and really enjoyed it. Went home, looked on Amazon, $20. Said, gotta have that. I've played it several times solo. I've played it with my son a couple of times. We both really enjoy it. Again, it's one of those where your character builds throughout the game before you fight the big baddie at the end. Just really solid gameplay. It takes a couple hours. I really enjoy it. I'm going to give this one a 6. Alright, somewhere in here. There. Thunder Alley. This one doesn't get a whole lot of hype, but and I'm not a big NASCAR fan, big racing fan, but I like the way you're playing as a team. It's not just one car that you're racing around. It's a team of cars, and you're drafting and you're making moves, to get around people, and it's just really fun. I play this again solo, multi-handed, honestly, just to see how the race comes out. I think that's pretty cool. So this one definitely is going to be a 7. Alright, that's going on the side. Colony, another freebie from Board Game Geek, the BGG Con. This is one of the better free games I've gotten from them. Just a bunch of dice. You throw a bunch of dice, you build kind of an engine to get more dice, to build more things, to get more victory points. So it's pretty easy, pretty simple. Played it multiple times and enjoy it. It's not mind-blowing, but this one will get a good solid 5. Where are my 5s? There's my 5s. There we go. City of Big Shoulders. An autograph, I don't think you can see it, but an autograph copy of City of Big Shoulders. I picked this up at BGG Con last year in 2019. I walked by it, I looked at it, and it looked like it, pushed all my buttons. It's an economic game. It's a worker placement. It's kind of, I guess, a lighter version of an 1800 or 18XX type game. It's not railroads, but it's industry. Just really enjoyed this. I played it a couple times. My son-in-law is a big economic guy, and he enjoys it. So this one gets a good solid 8. Liberty or Death, the American Insurrection. I got this in a trade. It's my very first coin game. Made me realize I don't really care for coin games. This one unfortunately gets a 1. Tesla versus Edison, the War of Currents. I so wanted to like this. Picked it up at BGG Con my very first year in 2017. Looked great. Played it double-handed. It's got a solo mode. It's got other geniuses you can play against, and it just never really clicked for me. I tried to like it. The components are great. I really tried to like it, just never did. This one's going to get a 2. Going to double this one up. We've got Forge War and we've got Founders of Gloomhaven, both games from Isaac Childress, who made Gloomhaven. Forge War being prior to Gloomhaven, Founders of Gloomhaven being afterwards. Both are fine. I wanted to like them more because I really like Isaac. Forge War I find very playable. It's fun. You're exploring mines and it's got good card play and everything. So this one I'll go ahead and give a 5. However, Founders, it's kind of, I don't know how to say it. It's clunky. It feels like you're not really doing anything. It feels like you're building something, you're making things, but it's just not as fun. I guess I want it to be more fun. So this one's going to go into 3 pile. Wingspan. What more can be said about Wingspan? One of the most popular games out there right now. Really simple. You've got 4 actions you can do, and yet there's so much going on with those 4 actions. It's beautiful. I love the fact that each bird is different. I've got the European expansion as well, and just really enjoy this one. Really solid. Is it mind-blowing? No. Is it fantastic, and can I get it to the table a lot? Yes. This one's a good solid 8. Seven Wonders, one of the few games in my collections my wife will actually play. Let me say that again because I pluralized collections. 7 Wonders, one of the few games in my collection that my wife will actually play. Unfortunately, we played it out so much that I got really tired of it. It's a good game. It's an easy game, obviously, because my wife doesn't like rules and she learned how to play it and she likes it. It's a drafting game, which is a very cool mechanic. Honestly, I just got tired of it, so this one's going to get a 3. Dungeons and Dragons Castle Ravenloft board game. Let's be honest, I got this one cheap to get the minis out of it because I was playing Curse of Strad in my D&D group at the time. I played it once, maybe twice after I got it, just to see how it is. It's very meh. I didn't really care for the mechanics. This one's a 2. Time Stories and all of its expansions. I've done them all. My boys and I played them all together. Again, we play them because we all like the discovery. This isn't Legacy, but it's a very big discoverable mystery type game. And, the chronicles of this are varied. Started out really strong, had some really not very good ones, had 1 or 2 that were decent, and then ended up really weakly. The secret that you were going for the entire season was incredibly stupid. However, I did enjoy playing this with my boys. This one gets a 6. In addition to that, because we did enjoy it, we did end up getting the Blue Series. The only one I've gotten is this Hadal project. They've changed some of the mechanics a little bit. They've changed kind of the way the game is laid out and how it's not do it and then go back and go do it again and then fail and go back and do it again. So it's a little bit different. I don't know how I feel about it compared with this. I think because this has more modules to it, more expansions to it, I have an easier time of defining this. This one I think will be one grade lower, so this will be a 6. This will be a 5. Castles of Burgundy, classic. The components are really cheap, really horrible, but I got it cheap. And it's very cool building your little empire there, rolling dice and being able to pick and choose the things that are on the board to try to get the sections done and make points. It's a point salad type game. Really decent. Not one of my favorites, but definitely worth having in my collection. I'll give this one a 4. Where are the 4s? There's the 4s. Alright, what I have here are the DDay game series from Decision Games. I've got Omaha Beach, I've got Tarawa, I've got Pelelu, and I've got Iwo Jima down there. I got Omaha after seeing a video of it. I wanted to like board games, or I wanted to like war games. I got one early that it was way too complicated. I liked the dot system on these, and the way the cards drive the actions. Really do enjoy it. It's one of the only war games I've really truly enjoyed. So I started picking up the other ones, and Tarawa was very good. Maybe not quite as fun as this, but pretty good. And then I picked up these two, and Pelelu is about on par with Tarawa. Iwo Jima was kind of a mess. If you looked at my channel, the only other thing on my channel currently is a 50 some odd turn playthrough of this game, because I wanted to understand the rules, and I figured the best way to do it was to play it out and film it and post it and be able to talk through it. And it helped, and they were supposed to redo the rules. They never have yet, so I have never gotten this back to the board. I'd like to again if they can fix the rules, but it's an epic game. Obviously, 66 days or 66 turns in the game, each about an hour long. You gotta. It's a commitment. So DDay at Iwo Jima right now is gonna get a 3. Pelelu and Tarawa, I'll give them both 5s. Omaha Beach, it's a good solid 7. The networks. The first time you play this game, it's really funny. Just the different plays on the different TV shows that exist, and you're basically trying to put together a lineup that wins the ratings. I feel like it's going to get very dated at some point when some of the references don't make any sense. So it's fun the first few times you play it, and after that it just gets kind of samey a little bit. But it is lighthearted, and it was very enjoyable. I'll give this one a good 6. Clans of Caledonia. This one's great, and I wish I had a better Scottish accent to describe it in, but that's one of the few accents I can't do very well. So this one is just very, very well done. I wish it was in a bigger box because everything barely fits in here, but you're a farmer. You're a clan in Scotland, and you're trying to make a better farm than the other farmers. But the way that you produce things and go to market, and so it's got the economic elements in it. It's got the area control in it, where you're putting out your farms and trying to connect them and get a better score that way. Really good solo play as well. I actually have discovered a solo version on BGG-Con that's even better than the one in here, because it's more of an automa, and so I really enjoy this. Really like getting it to the table. This one's a good solid 8. Silent Victory. This is another one of the only other war games I have. It's a submarine game. Picked it up in a trade just recently, and you're basically just going around sinking subs, and you're getting your sub to be a little bit better so that you can better sink the subs, and it takes you through the Eastern Pacific time frame. So it goes over the course of 1941 to 1945, and you see how many subs you can drink, how much tonnage you can sink. And you keep track of that, and so it gets a lot. It's very repetitive, because you're just kind of doing the same thing, and yet you have to understand the rules enough to know exactly how you're doing that thing. It's cool. It's definitely just a solo game. That's all it is. It's a solo game, and it takes a few hours. And if you're into that kind of thing, it's pretty good. I'm gonna give this one a 5. Viticulture, another Stonemaier game. It's actually another one that I've gotten my wife to play. It's actually probably the most complicated game I've ever gotten my wife to play. She enjoyed it for a while. Now, it doesn't really come to the table. She doesn't want to have to relearn it. But it's pretty good. I feel like you don't make enough wine over the course of the game. It's like, literally at the end, I've probably made 4 bottles and somebody gets 20 points and it's done. But really good worker placement, really good system. This one's a good solid 6. Star Wars Outer Rim, my most recent Star Wars pickup. It feels pretty good. You're smugglers, and you're going along. I like the board, the fact that it's just an arc, and so that's kind of interesting and new. It feels very Star Warsy. I love being able to play like Han Solo versus Boba Fett, and you're trying to salvage and take out contracts on nefarious people that need to be brought to justice and whatever, and or do smuggling runs, and you can do the Kessel Run. You can do all kinds of things in here. It's very thematic as far as all the locations in the events that occur in Star Wars. So it's pretty good. I wouldn't put it on par with a Imperial Assault, but I do enjoy it. This one's going to get a good solid 6. Good enough. Villainous and its various expansions. This one's just super Disney fun. It's asymmetrical and it's really interesting the way they tie it all together, because you could be buried in what it is you're doing, but the fact that other people can play your fate deck and mess you up it really keeps everybody on their toes and paying attention to what everybody is doing, and it keeps you in the story of what each of the villains are doing. I haven't played. I know the Marvel version just came out. I thought this looks interesting, but I don't know whether I'm going to get it. But this one's definitely a good addition to the collection. Family likes to play it around Christmas time. I'll give this one, gosh, I feel like I'm top heavy, but I'm still going to give this one a 5. Pandemic, Vanilla Pandemic, kind of what started my interest in cooperative games. Again, an early addition to my collection. Very fun. It's never the same. The way things play out. It all depends on how the cards are shuffled and the actions that the different people that you can have in the game and what they do. It's good. It's just now that I've played the legacy games, it doesn't come out because I'm just waiting for that next legacy. I have pre-ordered Pandemic Legacy Season 0. Can't wait for it. This one right now, because of that, I'm going to go ahead and put this in the 4 pile. Arkham Horror, the card game. I wanted to like this one. I didn't want to like it, I think, because being a collectible card game, I knew that if I did like it, I would be sinking a whole lot of money into this. So I'm almost glad I didn't really care for it. I played a couple of games and it felt okay, but that's all it was. I looked at it and I thought, do I really want to be putting the time and the effort into this? And the answer was no. It's okay, but I'm looking to get rid of it. This one's a 3. Hey, Catan. In fact, the Settlers of Catan. This one predates my hobbying in the board game. This is probably 10 years old. And it's just, let's just say, I can't remember the last time I played this because of all of these. So this one, it's still a good game. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just compared to everything else, it really doesn't stack up. So I'll put this one in the 2 pile. Black Hole Council, Rise to Power, BGG Con freebies. Never gotten around to them. Race to the Galaxy. When we want to play a game a lot of my games last a long time. When we want to play one that maybe doesn't go so long, maybe an hour or less, this is a good one to break out. It's got a good solo mode. I've played it solo. I like it, but I tend to rather play it with people. It's good. I mean, I like the fact that the cards have multiple uses. They're your currency as well as being playable to score points. So I'm going to give this one a 4. The Seventh Continent. I didn't back the Seventh Continent. Apparently, when there were some problems with production in the first version, so they sent replacement cards to everybody who backed it. I traded with a guy who had the replacement cards and never opened them, so I just had to add a few pieces to it. I have a full-fledged board game. Very good. It's fun. Like I've said before, I like exploration games. I like to explore. I like to find things out. I always feel on the edge on this one. Like I'm really not discovering anything. I come across things. I make a tool. I discover this. I look at I look at the back of this card. That's pretty cool, but I don't feel like I'm getting anywhere. And I guess that sense of it, not having that feeling of progression and knowing where I am in the story, makes it just okay for me. So it's very, very good, but not good enough. I'm going to give this one a 5. Alright, exit games. I got these buy 2 get 1 free. I thought, why the heck not? Let me try them. They're like escape rooms in a box. They're fine. I'll never buy them again. So I'm going to put these in the 3 pile. Alright, getting down to the nitty-gritty with the really small games. I've got, what is this? Poland First Campaign of World War II and Bomb Squad Academy. 2 little throw-in freebies from BGG-Con. I played each a couple of times just because I wanted to see what they were. Neither of them very special. These are going to go in the 1 pile. Space Hulk Death Angel. This is one I got in a pay-it-forward thing on Board Game Geek. It was solid. It was probably better than I thought it would be. It really didn't leave much of an impression on me, though. Very small, compact game, but it does have a good amount to it, but just didn't really hit it for me. This one's going to get a 2. Alright, Friday by Friedman Freeze. This was my first solo-only game way back when. Wanted something to play by myself. This was one that was recommended. Really cheap. And it just it hasn't lately, but for a while there, it just kept finding itself to my table because it was easy. It was kind of something I could do real quick if I had some downtime. I can't complain about this game. It's goofy, it's fun. This one, even though I don't play it much anymore, it's going to get a good solid 7. Forbidden Island. I got this at a bookstore while I was on a mission trip, just to have something to do with the kids that I was chaperoning. It was okay. That's all I can say about it. Just okay, but don't really care for it. And it comes in a tin, for crying out loud. This will go in the 1 pile. Alright, a couple of little card games here. Zombie Flux. One of the first few things I got way back in 2015. It's fine. It's fun. And it's better than Munchkin. So this one I'll put in the 2 pile. And then in here, I know it's not in the actual box, but this is where I keep Star Realms. And this was fun for a while. Me and my friends played this quite a bit. It's a very cool deck building game. It plays pretty quickly because you build up, you just shoot each other, and you get bigger and better cards to do so. So this one's pretty good, still pretty fun. I'll give this one a 4. Alright, Sherlock Holmes 4 Investigations in Your Town. I don't know if you can call these board games. They're really book games, but they are games. Again, one of those pay-it-forward things. I saw it and thought, you know what? Why not? It looks interesting. I wish they were, but they really weren't. These are ones. And lastly, some old games that I still have that are near and dear to my heart. Status Pro Football, Status Pro Basketball, and a really rickety box of Dynasty League Baseball. Sports simulation games. Back in the day, in the early 90s, and Status Pro Football actually dates back to when I was, I think, 10 or 11, honestly. I got the first version of this from 1980. really fun sports simulation games. I don't break out basketball or football anymore, but I found myself playing Dynasty Baseball recently even. I've even developed a system to make my own cards for, I mean, it takes a while, but to play more recent seasons and such. So I have a special place in my heart for sports simulation. That's kind of what I did when I was a kid. I like stats, I like numbers. That's why I played fantasy football and fantasy baseball and all of that. And you know, these just bring back good memories for me. So Status Pro Basketball, not so much. I'm going to go ahead and give that a 5. But Status Pro Football and Dynasty Baseball, these probably, just because of their history with me, are both going to go in the 9 pile. I'm not going to put them over there right now because they're not pretty, but that's where they go. Alright, so that's basically it. That's my entire collection. It's not as big as some people's. Now that it's on the board, looks like a lot of games. I've had fun with this. I hope you have too. I hope to be able to create more videos in the future. If you've made it this far, really appreciate it. Like and subscribe. And if you have any comments, please leave them in the comments section. I'll try to get back to you. Thanks so much. This has been Pelly, and I've been playing games. Well, not really playing games. I've been showing games. Might play some games later. Now I gotta put these all back. Gosh, why did I do this?